What do you get when you cross a know-it-all newspaper columnist with an awkward, unsophisticated everyman?
Yeah. Well, I'm just not sure about that right now.
Welcome to Couch and the Roo.
Welcome to Couch in the Roo, presented as always by Pure Options Precision Crafted Cannabis. We are getting close to the Pure Options Back to School Block Party. That's at the Frandor location, September 7th, Saturday, 1 to 7 p.m. 2 Chainz will be there, other musical acts, food trucks, cannabis vendors, games, all sorts of cool stuff. Tickets are available. $20 gets you in. All right, general admission. But there are VIP packages. $200 for a VIP package, which comes with private seating areas, ensuring you have the best view, maximum comfort, premium goodie bag, valued at $400, so you make your money right there. Express entrance to skip the lines. Only 200 VIP tickets are available at $200 a pop. Go to pureoptions.com for more. Jason, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing great, buddy. Football's back. Week 0. I lost a bet already. I hate someone in college football already.
Yep.
That's gambling related.
Yep.
Yeah, it's great. Got some sun over the weekend. It's been great, man.
Football really isn't back for me. When the biggest game
you know what I mean.
goes up against Liverpool-Brentford, it's not back yet. Like that, It hasn't even started. I mean, yeah, so.
Oh, wonderful. Another soccer joke.
Yeah, sorry. We'll fix that in post.
But it is back.
It is.
It's going to be great.
It's going to be fun.
Take the over. Hammer it.
It's what Aidan Chiles is telling you to do. Even though I will warn people, players usually know least. Like
I said before, if you bet, take the over.
I have never met a player who didn't think they were going to be great. I have met JUCO basketball players who were getting Division II offers, who were pretty sure the NBA was on their horizon. So, like,
he's talking about the over, which is 4.5, which is low, right, or 5.5. I don't think that's really going off.
Well, we don't know which over he's talking about. Is it the over for the game individually, or the over for the season? He might have been talking about the offensive over. Nobody followed up. It would have been a good follow-up question.
I'm pretty sure that Stephen Brooks was asking about the win total for the season, I would think.
Do you think Aidan Chiles understood that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so.
Maybe.
He's 18. He doesn't know how to gamble?
You have to be 21.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Wow.
There's
Do you really? That sucks.
Yeah. I mean, not that anybody of us, we didn't wait, but back then, none of this
Never had to worry about
legal anyway, so you were already breaking the law. So
right.
what that was.
No one checked your ID when you were calling a bookie. It was great. Good times.
Or you had some offshore account where the check arrived maybe with the I remember taking the check from Sportsbook, what used to be sportsbook.com became sportsbook.ag. It would arrive after like 6 weeks via mule in Venezuela, and it would say Royal Ontario Bank, and the stamp would be in the opposite way of a usual check, and you'd take it to like your bank, like Fifth Third Bank, and they would look at you for a minute, and you would just try to look like you were on the up and up, and they usually took it. It was always good.
Yeah, because people don't usually win money gambling. That's probably why they were like, wait a minute, what?
What's going on
Sports
here?
gambling? Yeah, right. He didn't win. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Anyway, we've got what I think is going to be a good show. We're going to dig into our hot takes and yours, as always. And sports writers laughing, especially goofy white guys. It's not a great track. I don't know if I love that track.
Don't say that.
It sounds kind of like me, too. It's not me.
Yeah, I'm not listening. We all laugh in a weird way. It just made me laugh that the sound clip was just a funny.
Yeah. It is.
Like, I know that when you have to kind of fake chuckle and all that stuff when guys are around, so I'm not goofing on your laugh.
Do you have to fake chuckle? I don't know if you do.
Well, you know, something like that.
Unless you're married to somebody, you don't have to fake laugh. You don't have to sell it.
Really?
My wife, she has to sell it. She even said
this is what a fake laugh sounds like. That's a fake laugh.
I even made my wife laugh for real this weekend. I don't even know what the joke was, and she goes,
Were your pants on or off?
No, they were on. She said, I really like it when you're funny. Like it never happens.
What an insult and a compliment at the same time.
Absolutely.
Oh, man, it's great when you can make me laugh.
There was a moment.
What happens the rest of the day?
There was a moment this weekend that was our house looked like a 1950s house. I was so embarrassed I had to get up and like take out the trash or do the dishes or something. She was dusting in the living room, and nothing looks more domestic than dusting. No chore, because you've got like this little mop thing on your hand thing. You're going around. You look like a 1950s housewife when you.
Oh, wow.
But so I am. So
right.
While she's dusting, I'm watching soccer, and I was doing some work, but the TV's on. And then she started dusting the TV around the TV, so it looked like I had my wife just dusting the TV for me so I could see the soccer more clearly. And it just felt so...
Can you get out of the way?
I didn't say that. I just went and took the trash out.
Is this going to take all day?
Yeah, I didn't do that. All right, let's dig into...
Make a
by the
better
way,
window than a door.
that is a story almost worth telling, but not per usual. Presented by our friends at Midtown Brewing Company in downtown Lansing, and the plug already fell out.
Jesus. That's a record.
That is a record. The 69% battery. Not going to make it. Presented by our friends at Midtown Brewing Company, an awesome place for a date night, for a drink after work, and a good place to watch games, too. It really is. A good place to chill with a friend at the bar, have an American stout, good big screen TV, good TVs at the bar, just a good setup there. Underrated television setup at Midtown Brewing Company in downtown Lansing. A great place to chill, relax, enjoy the vibe, enjoy the menu, and enjoy the beer. All right, you want to dig into your first hot take first?
Let's do it. And my take, let me get the take out of the way. And I went to a golf tournament yesterday, the Champions Tour at Warwick Hills and Grand Blanc, the Allied Champions Tour, where there are a lot of the older golfers. You have to be 50 or older. A lot of guys from our generation, Graham, of going through there and playing. You know, those guys have like the life. They play 3 days. They tee off at like 11:55 in the morning. And anyway, so by the way, my take is that golf in person is the best sport to go to. I found that was my first like live golf event yesterday. And I'm a big John Daly fan. And like, you know, politics aside, I don't want to get into that shit. I love John Daly from back in the day when he had a mullet and he was winning those 2 majors, grip it, rip it, all that shit, right? So I don't even want, I wanted to go see John Daly. It was a bucket list item for me to go see. I want to see Tiger Woods and I want to see John Daly play in person. I found out via his Twitter that he was in Michigan, and I'm like, wait, what? So I just bought a ticket. It was $30. They let you in. You can pretty much walk
It's the way tickets
anywhere.
work.
Yeah, it was no. But I'm saying, usually these golf tournaments, I would think they're too pricey. They're expensive. But for $30, you get like a grounds pass, and you get to walk around. So John Daly tees off at 11:55. So we go and we get our drinks and we're just like, I guess we'll follow, because I don't really know what the game plan is going to be, because I've never been to a tournament. You go sit at a hole. So I'm like, I want to watch JD. I want to watch him hit the ball. And so he comes out and it's like, now mind you, before on our way there, I'm thinking of different scenarios in my head. I'm like, because I know that you can get closer than any sport, right, in golf. And I'm like, what if I like run into him? Because I know like people talk, the chatter in the tee box while they're waiting, and you get to hear the guys, bust chops and all that stuff. So I thought maybe I was thinking of things like I could say to JD if I ran into him, right? So I'm like, I did watch the Bryson DeChambeau YouTube thing, and they were talking about John Daly loves chocolate milk and got Brandon DeChambeau to drink chocolate milk. So I'm like, all right, there's a kind of an angle. So so I'm like, all right, I got to go use the bathroom. I go towards the porta potty section. And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, what if he's like around, because it was like right around his tee time, right? So I'm like, what if I run into him? So all of a sudden I turn the corner and here he comes in his cart, John fucking Daly, like right, I'm like literally next to the guy. I don't know where it came from. I just go, JD. I yell. No, it gets worse. I yelped, but I wasn't controlling my body at that time. I could have blurted out anything at the time. Totally ignored me. He was with his caddy, drove around the corner. I used the bathroom, whatever. So we go to the tee box, watch the tee off and all that stuff. So in between, I believe, hole 12 and 13, there's a little gap there. And John Daly's you're allowed to ride a cart if you want to. And of course, John Daly rides right up to the tee box and right up to the green. So now Teresa's with me, so she's witnessing all of this stuff. So she's like behind me, kind of just like enjoying the scenery and stuff. So as they finish up on 11, they go to 12, and then they come around after they finish 12 over to 13, and there's like a gap of space where the cart goes. Like if you really want to, you can stand at the ropes and wait for the golfers if you want. I didn't really want to do that because, you know, I'm not good around like celebrities. Like, moral of the story, I should not be around celebrities. So I see Daly coming around, and his caddy is walking. He walks with the bag. I don't know why that is. But so all of a sudden, it is just me. Everybody is up at the tee box on 13 waiting for John Daly. So I'm walking over, and it is just him and me. He comes around again. And I go, in my mind, I'm like, I have to say something. Like, I feel it's like one of those moments where you meet your hero, and you go, what, you didn't say anything? Like, are you shitting me? So I just blurt out, hey, JD, how many chocolate milks have you had today? And he stares right through me. Like, I know he heard me. He was looking at me as he was driving his cart. There's no you know what I mean?
Like Jim Delaney stares
right
through you type
Well,
thing?
he had sunglasses on, so I'm guessing. But it looked like JD was hungover. I mean, he was not in a good mood throughout the. Well, listen, I know I must have a hateable face. I get that, but it was like, I got to say, I was a little. So anyway, so he drives past after he gives me 0. It got 0 from him, and it got 0 from the crowd. The crowd was kind of looking over at me like, this guy just fucking say this? And I'm like, all right. So his caddy walks by, and he goes, yeah, he's had 17. He felt so bad for me because it just absolutely just fell on the floor. Because I've watched, videos of Daly on the tee box, hooting and hollering with the crowd. I thought it was relevant because the DeChambeau thing came out recently. So I thought it was, kind of relevant, chocolate milk, kind of stupid and cheesy, but I didn't know what else. I mean, other guys were going, hey, JD, let's get a beer, like shit like that. At least I tried coming up with something, but I'm not going to lie. Like, it did hurt my feelings. Like, I was legit, they say don't meet your heroes, and, Johnny Galecki, and he's not my hero. I mean, he's got a bunch of great movies and Big Bang Theory's ass. But, John Daly, I've loved him ever since I was like a young boy. And, in the 2000s when golf was becoming big and all the Tiger Woods stuff, I still love John Daly. But I will say it did help my mental stability as we were watching, because we ended up following a little bit. And then went over to like the 14th hole and hung out, but he was not interacting with anyone. Like, he was really because golfers.
It wasn't just you.
If you watch, I mean, he shot a 69. He played well. He broke 70. It was unbelievable. But at the time, like, I didn't know. I'm like, so I'm going back and I'm like, did I say JD Vance fucked a couch instead of saying, hey, JD, how many chocolate milks? I mean, like, I didn't know. Maybe he could stare right through me.
I don't think it was that bad. I mean, it wasn't
really.
It wasn't a classic. It wasn't something that like you go that.
He could have just said 5. Had about 5. I mean, this zero acknowledgement.
This is on him, not you. Number one, he didn't know who you were.
Totally. Well,
right.
Yeah. I would hope so.
Which you should have.
Hey, are you Rube?
You're the Rube.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just shit my pants and then fall over.
You're in your state. You're the Rube. He should have known. He should have done his research. That's on him. But
he might not like this state for some other reasons, But anyway, it was just like, I love those stories of, the never meet your heroes. Like, I got over it, but I'm not gonna lie. Like, after it happened and we walked down that hole, and T was like trying to be supportive wife, and she's just like, she's like, oh, babe. She saw how bad it bombed and was trying to console me, and I was just like, oh my God. I'm on 40 mgs of the best Pure Options edibles and shit. I'm like, it's all like connecting together. Like, I just felt like I wasn't like really there. It was so bizarre. But anyway, that was Don't Meet Your Heroes.
Yeah, and a story worth telling, again, presented by our friends at Midtown Brewing Company.
But golf is great to go to an event. We're planning next summer to go to a couple some ladies tournaments or something. It's just like live golf. You get to go right up next to your heroes, and it's badass.
I think golf and hockey are the two sports that, like, just in person.
But even hockey, there's a little distance with those guys.
Yeah,
I mean, like,
right
remember Masters champion Mike Weir, the Canadian, the lefty? I'm sitting there watching him. He gets fucking irate at this couple that just didn't pay any attention and started walking down the ropes towards the fairway, and he was on the tee. So I'm standing right there watching Masters champion, and he's like, God damn, these fucking people. And I'm like, whoa. You get like inside the ropes and stuff. It's awesome.
That is cool.
It is cool.
No, it's you have to do more of it. This is the way tickets work. They're not overly expensive, and they let you in.
But I need to know it's here. I follow local events. I watch local news and read the State Journal. Like, I don't know. I just happen to see Daily tweet about something.
The State Journal's not going to tell you anything.
You know what I mean, though. How do I not know the golf tournament's coming around?
All right, my first take. I'm going to start with some MSU football. Jonathan Smith just had his first press conference. First game week press conference. Feels a little different vibe, different energy. You can feel the season is here. I met with him last Friday for an interview for a column that I wrote over the weekend. And a couple things. One, if you watch his press conferences, he's not bad in his press conference. He's okay. He's not disrespectful or anything like that. There's no Jim Delaney there, or John Daly or anything. But one-on-one, he's just really good. He's really down to earth. He's really engaging. That's going to be a good quality for him going forward. What I want to get into with this, however, is this is going to be, I think, for Michigan State football. We'll make it a little positive going into this week. Some good juju, good energy.
Hammer the over.
This is the best type of middling season to go into, right? This is like it. If you're going to have a year where you're not in contention, most likely, this is the sort of year to have. One, that it's the beginning of something, right? New regime that people are curious about, kind of want to trust, want to like. People want to be in, right? They just went through hell. They want to be in. And also with players that people feel can be part of the program at a higher level. Guys like Aidan Chiles and Nick Marsh. Like, even if this year there are mistakes made or there's youth that shows itself, like those are guys when you look and you go, boy, that could be a difference maker. There might be a couple of guys on defense. We'll find out. But there will be things that, like, if you're watching, if it's the first season, but there's not talent in the program that you say, boy, that guy could be more. It's okay. It's the beginning of something. It's the first season, but you know it's got to be built completely from the ground up. If you see some talent like an Aidan Chiles or Nick Marsh or whomever, but you don't believe it'll ever be part of something more because you don't believe in the coach, like it's middle of regime and it's just not going anywhere, that's depressing too. When you get a season where every win will be enjoyable, because last year certainly wasn't, you get some guys in the program that you have high hopes are like NFL-type guys, difference makers. The guys that Mel Tucker, for example, used to say that you need 3 or 4 on both sides of the ball to really compete. And then
we don't have enough time for all of that.
And then you get a year with a wide variety of outcomes where just seeing your team make progress and compete and have moments on a big stage and then win some games will be enjoyable. I think this has a chance to be a season that people are really, really into. We talked about like the basketball team last year, how it wasn't fun, and part of that was due to veteran team. Everybody knew who they were, and everything's relative to expectations. Thought you had like a top 5 group, didn't turn out to be that way relative to expectations. This year's basketball situation looks a lot different. A lot of high hopes, but young group, lots of different parts, lots of hope for different reasons. This is all new. Anyway, I just think this football season this year, we'll see it in the readership. We'll see it in the questions. I think the vibes, even after losses, are going to be pretty good. Even if they get spanked by Ohio State, even if they get hammered by Oregon, even if things don't go that great against Michigan, I think there's a real chance that this season is enjoyable, and that is reflected in the tone because there's a sense of hope, not just for what is down the road, but there are guys within this roster that people like. Now, with the transfer portal and everything, you never know how many of guys on this year's roster are going to be part of next year's roster. But when you look at a guy like Aidan Chiles, he's a guy who already transferred once, came with this coach at a position Michigan State will pay to keep if he becomes a star. Like that, you can wonder about NIL situations for a lot of programs, for programs overall. But at the quarterback position, I think MSU is always going to have the money to do what they need to do to keep a guy. And Nick Marsh is a guy who committed early, committed to stay them because of Courtney Hawkins. I think those are 2 guys who are likely part of the program for a while. I think there are other guys who will probably fall into that too. But anyway, I just think this has a chance to be really fun to cover, fun for people to watch, fun to write about, fun to talk about, and good vibes for a couple months.
It still blows my mind that Jonathan Smith is like the same age as I am.
Yeah, I know.
You know what I
It's
mean?
nuts.
Like, what an accomplished guy and football coach, and I'm just like getting shunned by John Daly over here. I just think it's underrated that, like you mentioned, Aidan Chiles is the reason for the hope, though. Like, we want to say Jonathan Smith this, Jonathan Smith that at Oregon State last year, blah, blah, blah. But Aidan Chiles is the reason why I'm excited. An 18-year-old kid who's a mobile quarterback. I mean, things can happen when you have a mobile quarterback, even when other things go completely wrong on an offensive snap. So that's why I'm excited about
Well, and it's yeah, I'm with you on the Jonathan Smith thing. I remember being like 32 years old when PJ Fleck got hired at Western Michigan.
Yeah, but then it's like, all right.
But he was younger than me at 31. That was the first head coach.
But he did the row in the boat, and you looked at that, and you're like, there's no way I could do that.
Nonetheless, you still felt like
you have to always look like you drank a pot of coffee.
This guy's doing more with his life. Is what I was thinking.
Well, yeah.
He actually texted me the other day and sent me a picture of something he found in their new house as they were going through some stuff of an article I wrote back in 2013 when I was already covering Michigan State. They must have been playing Western. I don't know. I wrote it. Anyway.
Man, he must have had some pure options.
Yeah, name drop. Yeah,
Jesus. He found an article of yours and was like, you know what? I should probably text this to old Graham Couch.
He did. That's what he did.
Right.
That's outstanding. I appreciate that. The Aidan Chiles is the perfect situation in a lot of ways, potentially. Because he's so young, because he hasn't redshirted, and guys who make it in the NFL, he's got an NFL presence to him. We'll see whether that pans out. You got to be accurate. Things have to go well.
But we wanted, I get it. We can overhype him, and I understand. We have to watch what happens Friday first.
But what I mean by that, though, is guys who make it in the NFL usually take a lot of snaps in college football. And because he's so young, that even if he's really good by the end of next year, the idea that he would leave early, and maybe he will if he's a top pick, but you look at he won't be that old, in other words, if he stays 4 years in college and goes to the NFL. He'll be a pretty young guy. And to have a guy who has time to grow into your program, who already knows the coach, who is built differently than quarterbacks you've had in the past. They've never had somebody potentially with this combination dual threat to this degree. Now, again, I've looked at lots of young quarterbacks and thought, well, this guy's making progress. You got to be accurate enough. You got to make the right decisions, great reads. If you're somebody who doesn't make the right decision in big moments or isn't accurate enough, none of this stuff matters. But the potential certainly seems to be there, and I think that certainly adds to it. I just think people are. I know there's some people who just are waiting to see something because hyping this stuff is pointless, and there's no point in hyping something beyond a 9-3 season. I think that's ridiculous. To expect something more than a middling season, even though I think there's a wide range of outcomes, is ridiculous. But I think a middling season will be enjoyed more than most middling seasons, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. What is your second hot take?
Buenos tardes. It is time for the Detroit Tigers Gambling Update with Gramanito Couch and Jason Nick.
Are we still betting the Tigers? I bet the Tigers because, of course, it's our school bowl pitches. You got to, you throw a single game parlay together for
against
that.
the White Sox, you got to, I think.
The White Sox are god-awful. The fastest to 100 losses since 1914.
Yeah.
That brought me back to what year was the Tigers 100
2003.
Oh, man, remember that season?
I do.
I feel bad for White Sox fans, even though you've seen a World Series before we have. But
I remember the last game of that season in 2003 when they won to avoid breaking the losses record, right?
Yeah.
It was like
people celebrating. Tony Dombrowski in the womb. No, I was celebrating
in the living room with my dad. And I don't even know. I think it was like a day game during the week. I don't even know why we were around, but it was like I remember high fiving. It was like a big moment. It felt like it was kind of cool. I don't know.
But the point of this whole thing is, should we still be gambling on the Tigers? Do they care enough?
Yes,
right. I think they do. I don't know.
So I'm going to go somewhere else completely with this and off the same hot take. This is, God damn it! I lost my first U.S. Open bet. Fuck. Just pull this. Anyway, this is the most. This is the most enjoyable. This is the most enjoyment I've had watching the Tigers in probably almost a decade. This recent couple weeks, this stretch, and a lot of it has to do with. Obviously, they've started playing a lot better. It looks like they have a chance to cover the over at 80 wins, right? They might be at 500 by the time we're done, or by the end of the day. But it's also because if you just look at the lineup, hold on, give me some Hoff real quick.
Hoff.
I am the passenger.
Peacock.
And I ride and I ride. I ride through the city's backside. I see the stars come
Okay.
out of the sky.
So you just go through the Sunday afternoon lineup. It's Parker Meadows leading off. You love the promise of that guy, right? You love what he's doing. Riley Green in second. Kerry Carpenter in third. Colt Keith, second base. Jace Young at third. That's your top first five. Then Spencer Torkelson, yeah, Zach McKinstry, Trey Swinley, Dylan Dingler, whatever. But you got five guys, and unfortunately Torkelson's no longer one of these guys. And you've got other guys on the team, but five guys in that lineup at the top of the lineup every time they get up that I believe are likely to get on base. Like, you know how it is when guys you just never see get on base even when their averages are decent. It's the Omar Infante syndrome I've talked about before. Five guys you think have a chance to get on base. They get rallies a lot. Five guys you think have a chance to be part of the future of the team. Like, it's been a long time since you felt that. And there's an energy about them. They're young guys trying to prove themselves, I think this last month, is going to be a lot of fun. It has been this past month. It's been really, really good, considering where they were out of the trade deadline when it looked like they were sort of punting on the season, the guys they brought up, how they performed. And you start to look at the future of this, knowing that you sort of trust the organization and the coaching staff a little more with how they've handled pitching already. And then you start to look at the lineup and you go, yeah, like, look how competitive they've been. Look how bad it is for some other people. Now, you've got to add something to this because Spencer Torkelson didn't work out. You essentially, if he had been like a fear bat, if he had worked out and been the player they drafted him to be, think about what this lineup would be. Then you'd be six deep, including him somewhere. You've got to go get that. To me, obviously you got to figure out some positions and all that. The thing they have to go sign is a really, really, really good bat that they can build around in the somewhere in the top 2 through 5 in the lineup. You got to go get that guy to pair with these guys that get you 6, 7 deep, and then they're not that far away. They really aren't. And I don't know. I've had more fun watching them. Even didn't cancel Bally's the app entirely, so I could watch it on my phone where I was.
Yeah, you should still do that though. But doesn't it bother you at all? Like, it just seems like we could have started this earlier. It's more of the Javi Baez hanging around thing, and I'm still annoyed that he went back to Chicago and got the hometown welcome that he did. That we're just doing that.
It is not a perfect season. There's no question. There's great frustrations, and they were never going to be able to overcome somebody of Torkelson's struggles with the hopes for him through the first part of the year. Even now, his numbers are a little bit better. We'll see. I'm in favor of letting him go through the rest of this year and not letting him get rid of him, letting him play through the rest of the season just to see what he finds out where he is. I don't think there's any point in not doing that. But yeah, no, I don't know. Colt Keith signed till he's like, he's signed for what,
next
8 more
decade.
years? Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of these guys are under team control, or they look. Meadows is as promising. It's fun, and this is really good. And it's become a little bit of appointment viewing for me, and that's rare. What is your final hot take?
Well, like I said, Mike Norvell is ass, right? Week 0, everybody tells you don't bet it. I'm like, man, 9.5. I really like 9.5. Liked it at 10.5, and then Georgia Tech wins the game outright. Mike Norvell, that's what I get. It was in Dublin or whatever. Mike Norvell's ass. By the way, this is a kind of a bait take, but I'm just being honest here. I was kind of annoyed seeing Nick Saban on the College Game Day set because of all of the shit he's always like. I know reporters ask dumb questions, but how many clips have we seen over the years of Saban being grumpy and annoyed at the media members? And now you're on that, on that table with all of those guys, and it's just, I don't know why, but it annoyed me. Maybe it should.
Like him. It doesn't annoy me.
I'm
like
saying that
him.
he contributed. I'm not saying that, but it's like Belichick and these guys who gave you nothing for years. And I know Belichick has been great, but it just kind of annoys me a little bit. But these two guys were kind of shit for how many decades to the media. Now they're all
Saban wasn't always as tough. Now he was better one-on-one. He wasn't Belichick. Belichick would give you nothing. Donuts. I don't know what he gave. He gave
pretty
nothing.
good.
Yeah, right. So
it's pretty good.
It was almost downright disrespectful. Just, at least give some coach speak, I don't know.
But I'd rather have that than just get, chewed out by Saban or something. But
it was Florida State was not impressive, and you kind of got a sense. You got to learn to read the tea leaves on guys who know this stuff. Saban was sort of forecasting. It was like Georgia Tech, if they play a little better defense, this is going to cause problems. when you hear guys like that, you have to learn to read certain coaches who actually know the stuff and when they watch the film.
Yeah, but you have to dig through so much coach speak. I don't know what's what.
You got to listen. You got to know what to hear. Yeah, that's a money line. I took Georgia Tech on the money line in the middle of the game when it was tied.
I was just about to tweet that out.
I didn't feel good about it. I just wanted to have some action on it. I did not know which way it was going to go. I wasn't actually, because I just saw the score.
Go either way.
Well, no, I was watching soccer. It ended. I said, "Where's the score?" Okay, I'll put something on it. The game didn't start.
Oh my God! Actual
14,
scoring? Is that what you said?
14-14 is when the game started for me because the soccer ended.
What was the score of the soccer game?
2-0. Good game. In fact, third take. I've got a Premier League future to recommend for people, and you can still get these out there. Do some shopping in different books, but Liverpool to win the Premier League at around plus 550. I really like it. They may not win, obviously. It's plus 550, but Man City is the favorite, odds-on favorite. Right behind them is Arsenal, and I understand why those two, either of them could win it. It's going to be a race all the way. But there was sort of this thought with Jurgen Klopp, the manager, leaving, that Liverpool was going to slide down a little. Not only have they not slid down, but they're better without Klopp, in my opinion, early on at least from what I've seen, because they are more disciplined. They are more disciplined side defensively, the way they get back and retreat, yet they still have all the same attacking firepower. They are less likely to me to drop stupid games they shouldn't drop, which has been the thing that's kept them late in the season falling just below Man City and Arsenal. And Man City could get a point deduction. Who knows what will happen in season? That could hurt them. Arsenal has yet to do it. They've been close every time. I think they're phenomenal. There's some things they can't do offensively still but great defensive club. But I think Liverpool has great depth, has discipline in the defensively, and it's a great attacking firepower. Plus 550, I'm all over it, and it would be just a fun bet to have all year and you get to watch a fun team to play and kind of root for. So if you're looking for a Premier League team, you're looking for a bet, you can kind of watch them all year. Liverpool to win the Premier League at plus 550, I really like it.
The bottom line is I could see that game going one way or the other.
All right, you ready to dig into our listener hot takes?
No, I want to hear you break down some more soccer.
Excellent.
Eric Schultz up first. Number one, if people are driven from college football, it'll be due to the loss of regionalism, rivalries, and connectiveness with the players due to unlimited transferring and big money poaching players. It won't be because football ruined track and field opportunities by taking scholarships. And two, if MSU finishes near last in the Big Ten, it signals a problem. Do I expect them to contend? Of course not even close. But there isn't a world where a school with MSU's resources should finish behind Indiana, UCLA, also with a first-year coach, or Purdue, who has a second-year coach.
So to Eric's first point on what will drive people from college football and the loss of regionalism, rivalries, and connectedness, I do think that is the primary factor. And I think the lack of connectedness being number one, and just not, and then also not connectedness to the players, and not feeling the what you used to feel about the school and the season and all that stuff over time. But I do think all of it is a factor. All of it piles up, and there will be people who are really bothered by the business of it, and it's not the thing that on its own it would not be something that really killed college football or hurt college football that badly. But when you add it to everything else over time, if sports disappear, and I don't think it's just sports changing. Like, I don't think there's anything wrong with tiering sports and saying this is a tier 3 sport here, tier 2 sport. We're going to put this much emphasis on this. This has fewer scholarships. I don't think we already deal with some of that anyway. You deal with men's and women's sports where you have more you have more women's scholarships in tennis than you do men's because you're trying to catch up with Title IX. Football already impacts. I don't think that's a problem. If some sports that people love start disappearing and football sort of gets the blame for that and the system gets the blame, there will be a cumulative effect with everything else. But I agree with you 100%, Eric. It's the other things that'll drive people. And I don't think we'll feel it right away, again, because the ratings will be up. The college football playoff expanding at this moment is really smart because that counters it. Right now, there's more excitement than ever, and it'll take a while to see the effect of some of these other things.
To Uper next. All eyes are on Aidan Chiles, but if we exceed expectations, it will be on the legs of Nate Carter and K'Ron Lynch-Adams. I think both get close to 1,000 yards each, but if they struggle, then 4 wins is the ceiling.
They haven't had a 1,000-yard rusher other than Kenneth Walker in a long time, so they get too near there. Things are really good.
Well, Kenneth Walker counts, though.
Yes, he does.
Yeah.
Right. You can't say he doesn't exist. Right. No, he does count. And that line deserves some credit, too. I mean, that was one of their better lines they've had. No, this could totally be. I mean, I am very curious to see this ground game. And I'm curious to see Nate Carter, who, the more you talk to people after last season, you realize how banged up he was. And can he stay healthy? I think K'Ron makes a difference, too. They got 2 guys who are sort of proven to, at least good Big Ten backs. And can they be difference makers? We'll see.
Spartan 18770 next. Number 1, the biggest loser in this Connor Stallions debacle will be Central Michigan. It's always the little guy that gets fucked. 2, this will be Sharon Moore's last season at Michigan. 3, Antonio Gates Jr. will be Child's favorite receiver by the end of the season.
Hot take. Sharon Moore's last season at Michigan.
That's hot.
Yeah, it is hot. But you never know what's going to come down here from the NCAA. I don't know if Central Michigan will be the biggest loser, but here's what I would say. Central Michigan did this to themselves. And they could have been out in front of this, and were not. So,
I mean, biggest winner, Jim McElwain. I mean, we figured out he didn't lay naked on top of that shark.
Yeah, he's not going to.
We saw that story. It's all figured out now. He's going to move on.
He doesn't come out of this as the biggest winner. It's not. I mean,
I don't know.
He didn't.
In my eyes,
he's not why Connor Stallions was necessarily there, but he's not going to come out of this.
I mean, out of the 2 things though, you're naked on top of a shark, Connor Stallions.
I mean, isn't being naked on top of a shark all that bad?
Yeah, dude, like you have to ask a question why. Like when they found the guy, I'm like, did they ask why? Like you can't just go, just bros being bros. Like, no, that doesn't, I don't know. I'm down with shenanigans, but dude, why are you butt ass naked laying on top of, like, that's your first thought is to hop on top of the shark?
Yeah, it's a good question. Yeah.
With your junk next to a shark tooth? I mean, are you out of your fucking mind?
That's fair.
Connor Stallions, come on in. Jebediah, MSU wins it all with a 4-team playoff in 2013 and 12-team playoff in 2014. Less hot take. Michigan doesn't win shit last year in a 12-team playoff. And bonus. I was at the Ally Challenge this past weekend, and a guy stopped me because he thought I was Dave Portnoy. So which celebrity that you look absolutely nothing like has someone called you?
You ever been mistaken for somebody?
Well, I got called Fat John Mayer.
Yeah.
That's,
Yeah.
it was kind of accurate. I'll take it. I don't think I look anything close to that dude, but, I'll definitely take it.
I don't know that I've ever had any. I mean, I got called Joe Rexroad for a long time. And
offensive.
But we looked a little bit
better
similar.
than Todd Schultz, am I right? Huh? No?
We looked.
Not at all?
I love the deep cut joke there. But we looked at least similar. So, yeah, I don't know if I've had somebody. My father once he worked in the for the state legislature in the House Fiscal Agency, and he was walking downtown in the late 80s, and somebody asked for his autograph and thought he was the Governor Jim Blanchard. And so he just signed Jim Blanchard. He just signed Jim Blanchard's name. So that guy still thinks he has Blanchard's autograph.
But Blanchard had that hair. Did your dad have that hair?
It was like sweeping over the top, you mean?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, my dad was a little balding and a little bit of a comb over. I mean,
so you can't be mad at that one if you look like, the governor.
Yeah, I don't think he'd look. That's not that similar.
I mean, it's not like it ends with you look like blank that got hit by a car. Like usually that's how
That's what. Yeah.
You look like John Mayer if he got hit by a car.
Fat John Mayer is still good, right? Is that what it is?
If John Mayer got stung by a bee.
Yeah. The first hot takes. I mean, obviously, I think they would have been in play in those years. In a 14 playoff, Michigan State 2013, I don't know that they're the best team. They would have been in play. They would have belonged on the field in those matchups. And I think 2014 was their best overall team. And so they would have belonged on the field and had as much a shot as anybody. Michigan in a 12-team playoff last year. Obviously, there's more to go through. But so who knows? But that was a pretty battle-tested team. Obviously, Georgia is in, and that's the big difference. If there's a 12-team playoff, and so is Georgia standing at the end somewhere along the way? What prevents Michigan from winning? That would be the argument, I think.
Sam the Man next. The Young Boys segment from the other week is a top 3 show segment ever. Are you trying to even hide your burners anymore?
Nah,
Because it has to be you.
Yeah,
that was not brilliant. Utter brilliance from Graham and great answers from Jason. I'm not sure how you are going to top it. Also, MSU wins 38-21 on Friday.
So they cover and take the over. Is Aidan Chiles.
I still think he was talking about the season total, but I don't know.
Another big game this week for Young Boys. Second leg of the Champions League plan.
Brilliance, huh? Brilliance on your part? I mean, I answered all of them correctly. Like
you were really good. I'm not going to question.
You
Sam.
need to have these burners at least compliment me a little more. They look fake, you know.
Fair enough.
Professor next. Number 1, Florida State is an easy team to hate. That's true. 2, that's enough Pat McAfee. And bonus, tried Graham Couch's extra donut trick this weekend where I bought an extra and tried to eat it before I got home with a dozen. Wife saw the receipt, called me a liar, and kicked me out. Graham Couch, can I crash at your place?
Yeah, you got receipts are not your friend. Receipts are never your friend.
You have to eat them. How dedicated are you?
Eat it with the first donut.
Just wrap it around the donut. Dude.
You won't even taste it. You'll pass it later.
Dude, how do you keep the receipt in there, though?
Yeah.
Receipts are gone.
Yeah. No, don't. Yeah, right.
Hey, couldn't you just go, hey, yeah, I got a donut? You know what I mean?
Like, I
don't get it.
I don't lie about much to my wife, but I lie about food. And so, like, those are the receipts are things you got to get. You either got to have it emailed to you or you got to make sure you don't have the receipt. If you go to Groovy Donuts and get as I recommend, get the extra donut, really
get it.
And then bring some home to the wife. Just leave the receipt there, whatever
and
it
if
is.
you get a divorce, the judge will be on your side.
Yeah, or bring the judge donuts. By the way, if you're going to court for anything you've done poorly,
yes,
Groovy Donuts is here for you.
That is a good idea.
Like, yeah, I mean, you could, just get a half dozen, get a dozen.
Might be considered bribery, but
Well, make sure the bailiff has some, the
try.
judge has one, and maybe even the jury. Go to groovydonuts.com, place your order today in time for your next court date.
Spartan Dog 97. If you're going to cry for 8 months about how you were fucked out of a spot in the college football playoff and suing so you can destroy your conference, you can't then get bullied by a mid-conference member in your first game of the next season. Otherwise, you lose all ground to stand on. And bonus, Brian Lindgren and Jonathan Smith won 10 games in 22 with an insurance salesman at quarterback, and 8 games in 23 while making DJU an attractive portal quarterback. MSU will be fine this season. That's another guy, DJ Ungala, whatever his last name is. I've lost more money in that guy in his 8-year career in college.
The thing you need to be careful of, and I would advise coaches on this, the guys who are bouncing around team to team year after year is like these veteran quarterbacks right now. And obviously when the COVID year goes away after this year, there'll be fewer of these guys. But they're bouncing around because the NFL sure as hell doesn't want them. Like, be aware of that. If the NFL has said, we sure as hell don't want this guy, what is, and granted, you don't want to be stuck with no QB, and he made some decent throws there, and that's not, he's not the only reason Florida State lost. They lost to a decent team, and they are a new team. There's going to be lots of turnover, and there's still an opportunity for them to get in the playoff this year and be okay. But with him, you have a ceiling that is, it is not the highest ceiling in the world. Florida State did not. But they were okay. I think Georgia Tech, I'll be very curious to see what happens with Georgia Tech season. I'm not going to overreact to it because this is what used to happen with the AP poll too often.
I mean, could you cut Florida State some slack for playing that game over in Dublin
100%.
at all?
Number one, I respect you for playing like a conference opponent so right out of the chute, a long way from home.
You still got to win that game.
So what? I respect it. And the one thing I don't want to do, though, is the SEC used to do this. You'd have 2 SEC teams play each other. One would win, and then we'd call them like a top 2 team. And then it'd turn out like 6 weeks later, because they hadn't played anybody else, they'd lose. And you'd go, wait a second. Neither one of those teams was very good. Instead, they were both in the top 5 because they happened to play first. They play each other. They were overhyped. The biggest problem for the AP poll is letting a top 10 team lose, or any poll, to an unranked team. And I tweeted this out because the problem now is you go into week 1 and you already can't use your rankings. Like, it's irresponsible to include the rankings on a Chiron and on TV or in a story, because you already know the top 10 team at best wasn't any better than an unranked team. You already know the rankings are wrong. We all know preseason rankings are bullshit and shouldn't exist. And this is why reporters shouldn't take part in this stuff. But beyond that, you now know they're all wrong. Like, if this is wrong, what else could be wrong? You can't use them anywhere, and you're heading in the first week. You can't even tout a ranked matchup because you don't have rankings anymore. You cannot include them in a story. You cannot include them in a story, and certainly not in a headline.
Matthew Kenny next. After watching 2021 highlights, it's obvious that Connor Hayward was a bigger loss than Kenneth Walker. Bonus, you can close down the main roads for construction or the highway, but you can't do both at the same time.
That's very frustrating when it happens. There's a lot of construction going on.
Close it all.
I think it's Matthew Venny, by the way. It always
Venny.
auto corrects to Kenny, and I sometimes don't catch it. Apologize, Matthew. Definitely hot take. Connor Hayward was a really good player. Kenneth Walker was
awesome.
Was different.
So was Hayward, but you know.
One of my worst bits I do on this show is when I mansplain the world to writers who aren't listening. Like how many AP voters are listening right now? And I'm sitting here or not just AP voters, but writers. I'm like, you cannot do this in your story. Like everybody else, like, yeah, I don't fucking write for a living. Who cares? Who are you talking to? You got to stop me from doing
that. Cheeks up next. ACC conference champion should have an asterisk next to their name, same as FSU did last year, since they only play 8 conference games and Big 10, SEC, Big 12 play 9 or 10 conference games. ACC equals weak football. Bonus, Labor Day weekends had better sports than New Year's with the U.S. Tennis Open, FedEx Cup golf final, and college football starts. Baked take. Unfortunately, Jaden Akins will never be him. He has the athletic ability to do so, but for some reason, when the lights are brightest, he does not perform up to his God-given abilities.
I don't, with the Jaden Akins, I don't think what we've seen so far is, number one, it's a very small sample size, right? It's a couple games where he didn't play that well in Spain, and then sort of being in a different role at MSU. I don't know that he has the ceiling to be the guy is sort of a lead scorer, on-demand scorer. But to me, it has nothing to do with the lights being brightest. He's hit big shots. To me, it's more about, does he have the skill with the ball in his hands to create space and shots for himself that he's good at? I don't think the moment has anything to do with it. In fact, in Spain, the game that he played best was the game when they needed help hanging around with the team from Serbia, and they needed him. He was really good late in big moments, I thought. So, but the questions with Jaden Akins are sort of, as a player, does he have that ceiling? I think he's a really good player, but he just may not have that. By the way, with the conference stuff, this is why schedules have to be judged outside of the conference. If you play 8 conference games only, you better have 1 or 2 non-conference games that are against reputable competition. And in the Big Ten, you need fewer of those. You have to look at the schedule overall.
Captain Dumbfuck next. Jets beat the Lions in the Super Bowl. Lions win it all next year. And baked. To fix traffic, we need to build up. There's so much unused space in the air. Instead of roundabout, we should have built ramps to another road for a couple miles in busy areas. Would help us get around accidents and traffic.
That is pure options take, but I respect it.
But why not? I mean, it's like my tornado thing. I mean, you could just say the idea. Maybe it triggers something, and
I don't hate it.
It starts rolling.
We look at if you go down my street. If you were to go down my street with rollerblades or a skateboard right now, you would die. You would die.
Why?
Because it's so beat up. Like, we can't fix our own roads around our neighborhoods. How are we going to build up? You know what I mean? Imagine.
So why don't you get one of those orange trucks with filled with the stuff and start shoveling it in there? I would do it if you could do it. Right? For your own neighborhood?
The whole neighborhood? You want me
I
to
don't
do
know,
the
maybe not
neighborhood?
the whole. I mean, how many are in the Facebook group? You guys could all take turns.
I can't put together
I
can't put together an IKEA dresser. How am I going to? I mean, I would screw
Dude,
this up so badly.
It's all of the shit in the back of a truck. You take a scoop and pour it in a hole. If you can't do that, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, if they told me that there was a truck coming out there in Ovid and there was a bunch of holes in the road, give me the shovel. Pop it out. Pat it down. Next hole. I mean, if you're that mad about it,
I'm not mad about it. I'm just saying,
sound pretty pissed.
I'm not that pissed because I would rather.
You can't even ride a skateboard down there.
I'm just saying, I don't ride the skateboards very often, so I just don't want the construction. I'm just saying, if we can't get that right, how do we build up? Is what I'm saying. I'm just worried about our ability to execute this.
All right, couch on fire. Number 1, Tigers almost 500 and actually watchable. Who would have thought? 2, at least MSU basketball and football won't be held to high levels of expectations this year. That usually bodes well. 3, if we are paying college athletes now, let's give their scholarships to academic-minded students.
I mean,
all right.
Yeah, they're gonna get scholarships too. Most of them. Now there will be sports where that's how they get around it, right? I can see a day where like MSU men's tennis, which has got a good NIL situation going in with this is Sparta right now, where they don't have a ton of scholarships, but ultimately they're able to fill that gap in with NIL. No, don't get me wrong. You can make that argument, but as long as athletes are still students, then they're going to be on scholarship.
David Jackson next. MSU minus 13.5 versus Florida Atlantic and taking the over 4.5 total wins are both taking candy from a baby. I'll be figuring out the local casino app this week. Bake take. Maybe Trey Sweeney can't hit any better than Javi Baez as the Tigers shortstop, but at least he looks like he's trying. I'm on the Team Sweeney bandwagon.
Yeah, I mean, we're just sick of Javi Baez. I'm happy to watch Trey Sweeney the rest of the season.
Does he take a pitch or two here and there, or does he just take 3 cuts and go sit down?
Yeah.
Because I'd rather watch that. Someone with a good attitude.
I would rather watch Torkelson, obviously, because you're at least rooting for him to figure it out, even though I don't think it's going to happen to the level that he's supposed to be. But frankly, I would rather watch the Rube up there take 3 cuts because at least it would be entertaining and the results wouldn't be any worse.
Yeah. And I'd fall over.
Which would be great.
With a helmet on.
Yeah. No, it'd be.
And I'd fall back like a turtle on its back. I mean, it would be funny. I would make it funny for you guys. Yeah. But I would swing like Javi Baez. So that's not a compliment for Javi, though. Right? No, it's definitely not a compliment. Because I feel like anyone that would do that would just go up and swing like he does and just hope to hit some contact. Kevin from Rochester Hills, the White Sox will be in the World Series before the Tigers. And bonus, Aaron Judge is not on roids.
Been pretty impressive.
He doesn't need roids, though.
Right? Boy.
He's a monster. It's fun, but why not use some roids to get like Aaron Judge? It was fun back then.
The White Sox seem like, the White Sox are the worst case scenario. I don't know if I've seen a situation quite as.
I couldn't believe that there was fans, like White Sox fans at that game.
Well,
or any of those games.
Why not? It's a beautiful afternoon. It's baseball.
I would rather than give money to that organization if you're the fastest to 100 losses. Kiss my ass. It goes for the Tigers, too. You're not making the playoffs. I'm not going to go spend money down there.
The thing about the White Sox is so depressing, too, is that they were, like, 4 years ago, had this group that looked like they were on the way up. And it was like they'd built something that was to be a force for a while, and that didn't work. So now you tear.
Yeah, but you can't be bummed about that as a Tigers fan.
No, I'm not saying you're bummed as a Tigers fan. I'm just saying if you're a White Sox fan,
who cares? Suburban Spartan Dad. FAU scores a meaningless touchdown in the final minute on a broken coverage to backdoor cover and dampen the vibe of an otherwise positive night. And there goes my bet. That sounds fucking spot on. It sounds like that's happened to me before.
This is the reason right here. One of the many reasons why Pure Options exists and why before Friday night you should go to pureoptions.com or swing by the nearest Pure Options. Join their Pure Perks loyalty program, by the way, which is totally worth it. Go down there, stock up, be ready. Not, Michigan State, win or lose, whatever, but for whatever the result, and if your bet doesn't cash, whatever it is, Pure Options can help you get through that weekend. You wake up, it's a new day on Saturday, new dawn, thanks to Pure Options.
Ethan Charmella next. Going to get a good look at Boston College this week. Take down an angry FSU team on the road. Could be trouble. Get rolled by a potentially vulnerable FSU team. Might seem like a win for MSU. FSU beats them rather handily, making us feel good about that one.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how Florida State responds and what that game looks like. And it is a good first look at Boston College. New coaching staff, they are. I can't remember if they're one of the new quarterback teams. I feel like they're not. No, I would not look it up. But yeah, will be a really good look. Will be a good look at them.
Pablo Ciccone next. MSU wins 2 of the 4 gauntlet games. Why are you so low? And don't give MSU a chance in any of those besides maybe Iowa, Graham. And bonus, a soggy concession hot dog is top notch. Best part of game day. And bake take. I couldn't think of one after several minutes. Thanks, Pure Options.
That's what it's here. Pure Options is here for your.
Well, it's supposed to, give you good ideas.
Stir thoughts. Yeah, usually it works the other way. but we appreciate you anyway. Soggy concession hot dog, top notch.
Is this a bit? Was it a joke? There's no way, right? A soggy hot dog.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to. I do love a concession hot dog, almost as much as a trough, but I don't know about soggy. The
just eating a hot dog at a trough.
No, I don't.
In your element.
I wouldn't hate it, but I don't. It's not usually my style. The MSU
Don't make any eye contact. Just eating a hot dog while you got your mule out. That would be a good bit if you could hold it. For real. All right.
MSU wins 2 of their 4 Gauntless games. So we're so basically, why I don't give MSU any chance besides Iowa?
Because he has to, because he can't say they're going to win any,
No,
and
well,
then you're going to hold him to it.
So
you
think they're going to beat Ohio State or win at Oregon 6 days later?
No,
right. So that means if they're going to win another one, it's going to be at Michigan, and we've seen stranger things in that rivalry, and who knows exactly what Michigan will be. I mean, they're a more seasoned program at this point. So that's why it's on the road, and it's hard to imagine, and it just really is. And those first 2 games, I do not think are going to go well.
C-Dubs 91, Michigan will self-impose a bowl ban once it becomes evident they will not make the college football playoff. Bonus, big-time musicians should offer a pay-per-view streaming option for their concerts. I would pay $20 to $30 weekly to see my favorite artist play a new set from my couch.
So the problem with this is the same reason somebody asked last Friday about the idea of having the Moneyball Pro-Am streamed and people would pay for it, and it would be another revenue stream. But what artists want and what artists feed off of is people being at their shows and the environment that creates. And so, I mean, Springsteen the other day was just talking about no farewell tour because who would give up all these adoring people cheering for you? You know, like, and so if you make it so you don't need to go to the shows, then the same thing with Moneyball. If you make then fewer people show up, and I don't know that that's a win overall. It's sort of like Hamilton, when they put out the show Hamilton on Disney Plus during the pandemic.
Oh God, it screwed people over.
But they didn't do that before. They didn't do that during the first 4 years of Hamilton's show because they wanted people to go to the show. It was a pandemic sort of thing. I think.
What if you're out of state though? Because I love Kings of Leon. If they were playing like on a Friday night or something like in Chicago, I would he's right. I'd pay $20. I think.
But would you be less likely to go see them play when they came to Ovid?
No way. To Ovid. Well, like DTE, I would I would still go see them.
Still go. Okay.
Yeah, I can understand if you're in a radius around DTE. I mean, DTE wouldn't want that. But I don't really. I mean, if you're that close, you're not going to buy the pay-per-view. I don't know. Yeah. I just think you'd still go.
Yeah.
Scott, number 1, Big Noon Kickoff will continue to delegitimize the Big Ten when compared to the SEC. It's annoying to have the second or third best Big Ten game on at night. That's why I usually and will continue to watch the SEC during night games over the Big Ten. And 2, Bodkin was a 6.5 out of 10. And any recommendations above 5 is a solid rec. Unfortunately, most shows today, you can't make it through the entire season. Thanks, Couch. 3, the NCAA just has to vacate Michigan wins and Big Ten titles from 21 through 23. That will add an even bigger asterisk.
Well, that would be I think the biggest possible punishment they could do. I cannot see that happening, but that would more than add an asterisk. It would enrage people. It would be satisfying for fans who, it would sort of invalidate what they had done.
But there's no shot of that happening.
I don't think so. No.
Jay Riemann-Schneider, the talk that Michigan just won the title, so they'll be fine if they go 8-4 is off. Fans don't have to be over the top and truly expect Michigan to go undefeated again, but believing they can make a run at 10 wins, the Big Ten title and the college football playoff is well within reason and wanted. Or warranted.
Yeah, I'm not sure which, but I do think, I don't think fans will, fans right now say it doesn't matter if they win a title. It doesn't matter what they do. They just want a title. And I think there is some of that. Like if you talk to Cubs fans, after they won a title in 2016, there was a several years of grace. Now, are they getting frustrated again now? Yeah, absolutely. But Michigan not only won the national title, they've been to the playoff a couple times. They sort of solved Ohio State. I think there will be now. It's a new coach. They don't want things to fall off, but I just think there's going to be an awful lot of grace. It's not that they don't want to win, but
I mean, it's not crazy for a guy that was interim that went 3-0 or whatever. Now he's the coach. I just don't trust him over Harbaugh.
No, I don't either yet. I don't know what he's going to be.
But if Harbaugh were the coach still,
but even what I mean is
different.
If they went 8-4, with Harbaugh as the coach, you'd be like, well, everything's the same except they just had a younger team or things didn't go as well.
Right. They'll
have to revamp it. Look what they just did. Everything's good. I think different Michigan fans feel different ways about all of this.
All right, Kurt Wisniewski. There is so much hope to see Michigan football and their fan base to be shoved into Middle Earth for these notice of allegations. They can now make their mouth like a donut and take the truth. Make your mouth like a donut.
There's a Groovy Donuts live read there, but I can't think of it. I can't go there. Yeah. I think there is. I mean, I think people are hoping that this really. It's going to be fascinating to watch and what Michigan's response is to these allegations too, right? Because I think they have 90 days, which puts them up right toward the end of the season.
When's the Netflix thing out? Is that tomorrow?
Tomorrow, Tuesday.
All right, Matt C. Number one, once Michigan gets the hammer for the cheating scandal and the gambling side of it, Graham will go into witness protection to avoid getting dunked on by the fans. 2, MSU football hasn't had the swagger of Aidan Chiles since Connor Cook was there. It's a much-needed lift for our program. We're going 8-4.
There is a swagger to him. I think they've had other guys with swagger, but I think there's legit. And Connor Cook had swagger before he should have had swagger. Like Connor Cook wasn't very good and he had swagger. But I think you're right. Chiles believes in himself. He believes in his abilities, probably for good reason. And he does come with a level of confidence. I think one of the Tommy Schuster, the backup quarterback's one of the smartest things they did too. You get a sense from Jonathan Smith they really like what he's done. Not that they're thinking he's going to replace Aidan Chiles or anything, but this season, Aidan Chiles takes a knock and misses a game or whatever it is. This season doesn't come down to only Aidan Chiles' health. Now, he's the difference maker, and Schuster's a different kind of quarterback, but I think they can get through a couple games if need be. I think I'm pretty amazed how they went from 0 quarterbacks to the quarterback room they have now. I think they're in a pretty good situation. Let's take a really quick break. When we come back, more of your hot takes. Couch in the Rube, presented by our friends at Pure Options, precision crafted cannabis.
Hey, sports fans, are you tired of the same old routine? Looking for a way to unwind after a long day? Look no further than Pure Options, the premier destination for all of your cannabis needs in Lansing, Detroit, Muskegon, and Mount Pleasant. Whether you're cheering for the Lions, Spartans, or the Wolverines, Pure Options has everything you need to elevate your game day experience. Mention Couch the Rube when you visit Pure Options and get a Pro Grow 8th with a $50 purchase. It's our way of saying thank you for being a loyal listener. Swing by Pure Options today and elevate your cannabis experience to a whole new level. Firekeeper's online casino and sportsbook is the site to play from your phone, tablet, or laptop. Get in on all the football action with pre- and in-game wagering. There's showdowns every week in football that you can't miss. Plus, the college and pro hoops are red hot, and the pucks are cool. Get your first casino deposit and sports wager matched up to $500 each. Terms and conditions apply. Must be 21 or older and located in Michigan. Gambling problem? Call the Michigan Problem Gambling Helpline at 1-800-270-7117. Where else can you cheer on your team? Enjoy a mouth-watering burger or savory sushi. Sip on handcrafted cocktails or one of 46 beers on tap. Take your game day or date night to Cask & Company Kitchen Bar or Front 43 Neighborhood Pub near Frandor. 2 amazing places with 1 awesome blended modern American Asian menu. Catch the game on one of 30 60-inch TVs or stop in for the all-you-can-eat lunch buffet. Enjoy happy hour or elevate your night out at Cask & Company or Front 43 on East Saginaw in Lansing. Ever wonder how comfortable you can be and how good you can look? Put on a Muskox flannel and find out. Muskox has new arrivals for this fall, including the Caper Green Grand Flannel, which even makes couch look good. Muskox is a Detroit-based flannel company that creates soft and durable flannels made to last a lifetime. They become a great partner with Couch in the Rube, not just because they make us look good and feel good, but because they're good people too, and a socially conscious company. For every $100 purchase, $10 is donated to the Alaska Wildlife Conservation. Muskox flannels are designed with 100% cotton that is ethically sourced and double brushed for softness. Feel the quality and comfort of a Muskox flannel by ordering at gomuskox.com, where Couch in the Rube listeners can enjoy $15 off their flannel purchase with the promo code HOFF.
Find Couch in the Rube podcasts on Spreaker, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Spotify, YouTube, Facebook, Google Podcasts, CastBox, and the Rube's favorite podcast addict.
Couch in the Roo, presented by our friends at Pure Options Cannabis. Telling you right now, if you haven't been to a Pure Options, you are going to love the vibe. You're going to love just the setting, the cleanliness, their knowledge, their number of product offerings, and their events, including September 7th, back-to-school party at the Frandor location. On the big screen, they'll have the Michigan State Maryland game. Tickets start at $20. You can go on the site, go to pureoptions.com, and go to events, and you can learn more there. All right, back to your what are we calling these? Hot takes, I guess?
Yeah. Gotham volleyball dad. I took Aidan Chiles to win the Heisman at 10,000 to 1. This talk of him throwing for 6 TDs made my mule move. Baked. The refs in the galley versus Vero Beach game Friday night were on the take.
He's a volleyball dad, high school volleyball dad. So there's in Maine, he's Gorham. So in Maine, somewhere there's some volleyball dads who are on the take. There's a big high school volleyball gambling scene in Maine, which is underreported, but huge. Aidan Chiles, 10,000 to 1. If that's what the Heisman, it's not the worst bet. I mean, you know, why not? I don't think that can't be the odds for him. But you're starting quarterback with a lot of talent.
Book.
Yeah, you might as well put a buck on that. I don't. Yeah, it's a pretty good deal.
Joan Haim Smith next. Aidan Chiles will look like baby Cam Newton on Friday, throwing for 250-plus for 3 touchdowns and running for 50-plus and 1 touchdown, leading MSU to a dominating win and causing the fan base to wildly overreact. And bonus, a Wrigley Field hot dog with grilled onions is easily a top 3 hot dog.
Mm-hmm. Especially over a trough, right? No. Sorry. That joke's got to die.
No, it's good.
I've had a few hot dogs at Wrigley. To the
I've had a few hot dogs.
at Wrigley.
Oh.
That's what I meant. Good point. There could be some easy overreaction depending on how it goes, for better or worse, with the Florida Atlantic. The thing that's going to be interesting with them is they are in the second year under Tom Herman, and a team with a ton of questions too. I think they might just be a mid-level, mid-major team with a little more speed than maybe some of the MAC schools. Maybe that's not. I mean, it's going to be a couple weeks where we find out if they're any good. So whatever happens against them, good or bad for Michigan State, does need to be taken with the understanding that we don't really understand what the opponent is, and I don't know that we'll 100% understand it just watching Michigan State go against them.
Rich Kane next. Graham's tombstone should read, he was a trough guy and he always checked his towel. Bonus and follow-up. First, Graham says he needs more people to get divorced. Next, he says we should hide eating half a dozen donuts from your spouses. What's next on the sociopath checklist? And Baked. A sports writers Hall of Fame wouldn't work as a standalone operation, but a shelf in a mid-sized city's library would probably do just fine.
Absolutely. This seems like something for, I don't know, give me Springfield, Illinois. Different Springfield, right? You know, library in downtown Springfield could host the Hall of Fame.
Caitlin Clark stand next. Is there a worst shtick than Graham's hating of Jared Goff? Dude's the most successful quarterback in Lions history and a top 7 quarterback in the league, and Graham still bitches about paying him. He was 1/2 away from going to a Super Bowl.
Yeah, it's one of my worst.
And Baked, Jonathan Smith should win Coach of the Year, already based on what he did with DJ, whatever his last name is, last year. Ugalawale.
There's no doubt that of the takes that I spew here, there's nothing that frustrates fans more than the Jared Goff hate. Like, I hear more about God, just again, and it's not Jared Goff hate. You know what it is? It's the dream for the Lions was always to be built around the great quarterback, and that didn't work. I mean, I don't know if Stafford ever truly was that, and it didn't work, frankly. Grew up an Elway fan. That's what I wanted. The big arm guy that the whole thing was built around no matter what, and that's just not the way these Lions are built, and you're right. Beggars can't be choosers. They should have been in the Super Bowl last year. They're one of the favorites to be there this year. And at some point, his limitations may hurt the Lions, but it hasn't yet. And so that will be something to deal with at that point. And maybe he's just better than I realize. And you're right. I should shut the hell up.
And weren't you out of takes that day, so you just threw that in?
Oh, I don't know.
3, and you were like, man, I can't figure out another one.
Jared
Goff blows.
I don't like the quarterback. Like, if I were an owner in the NFL, I would get together with other owners. And I know this is called collusion, but I would say, look, we are going to reset the market. But like, I don't like the idea, and I don't like it in the NBA either, where if you're above a certain level, you just get the max amount. You get to be the next. No. If you are one of the top few quarterbacks who can lead a team, can lead a below-average team to the NFC, AFC championship, then you deserve to be paid like that. There should be guys who are making everywhere starters between $15 million and $50 million, and it shouldn't be like all or nothing. It should be $50 million, $40 million. Some guys making mid-30s. It just moves down. And Jared Goff, to me, should be in the the upper 30s, and that would be a fair contract based on his ability, and that's just not the way the system works, and I got to get over it and stop spewing it, because right now we have lost, I would say, 20 to 30 listeners, or 20 to 30 listeners have just put edibles in, one of the two, just during this rant itself.
Yeah, I can understand that. Dark Antonio, trash cans are private property. I can't believe there was ever a discussion of whether putting your dog crap in someone else's trash is okay. Hell no, it's not okay. Don't touch my stuff, especially to put some stinky-ass crap in.
Thank you, Dark Antonio.
Stinky-ass crap that's going in a stinky-ass receptacle.
Doesn't matter. Dark Antonio is on my, he
have
gets
it like in your
for
garage? Like, what would it?
Just don't put your crap in other people's stuff. Carry it with you.
Yeah, but it's dog shit.
I don't want.
Get it up. Do you want him to leave it in the street?
No, I want you to pick it up and carry it
into your trash can.
No.
All right.
Or we could do it like if you're a dog owner, you put like a red mark on your trash can, and so you're a fellow dog owner. Your trash can is open to other people's dog shit. But if you're not a dog owner, you don't get the shit.
So you hate dogs?
I didn't say that. I like dogs.
Oh, all right. Corey Ostrom, number one, the Lions will sign a veteran quarterback and another kicker after the Tuesday cuts. It's all or nothing, and Hooker and Bates haven't earned trust with the coaching staff. 2, MSU covers, has 450 yards of offense, and the defense holds FAU to under 350 yards. And 3, Sharon Moore will get a show cause penalty and a 6-game suspension for his role in the sign-stealing scandal and for being a habitual offender.
It would be a rough way to start your, although I guess they'll have time to. It'll be very interesting to see how quickly they respond to this, and whether they do anything. Sharon Moore is, I don't think he's going to see any more suspension. I really don't. But I'm guessing shit here. What do you think about the backup quarterback situation? Do you think they need to sign somebody? Like, to me, there's part of it's like, if your quarterback gets hurt, you're screwed anyway.
Right.
So,
and they signed Jake Fromm. I mean, as long as I don't see Sudfeld out there, I mean, Hendon Hooker seemed like he was okay in the last preseason game. What are we, like you said, what are we worried about?
Yeah.
Like, if I see Hendon Hooker, I know that our season's probably fucked.
I don't know what you do other than, like, you call the Steelers and say, hey, whichever one of your two guys doesn't win the job. No, yeah, you're kind of
you look forward to the season and hope Jared Goff doesn't get hurt, right? Witty username, probably a lukewarm take. Michigan will totally skate. NCAA is gutless. White hot take, 10 football wins.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if U of M will skate, but I don't think it'll be satisfying to MSU fans and other fan bases. If 10 football wins happen, that's above my ceiling that I think for them, and they're in the playoff. So that happens, it's a hell of a year, and people are just, if that happens, we'll do something special with Pure Options where everybody gets a free gummy and everybody just gets to live 20 MGs, because that's how it'll feel. It'll be a natural
just one
high.
Gummy?
Well, I mean,
start handing them out,
Yeah, whatever. We'll figure out a deal, yeah.
PZ, people who take pickup sports too seriously are ass. It's a kick around at a local park, not the World Cup finals, for fuck's sake. Bonus, that annual late August, early September week where it gets super hot again is a good thing. Last chance to get out to the pool or the lake.
Totally agree. I mean, it's a little steamy for me right now, but it does seem to be this week every year. It gets like insanely hot in ways it hasn't been for parts of August. And I actually don't hate it, because I know fall's just around the corner. Hallmark movies are coming. We're all good.
Fart Soup, week 1 of college football season is the greatest time of year. MSU is undefeated. College game day on the TV. Late night West Coast games. Football is back, baby. Bonus, no Pac-12 is total ass. Seattle is covered with the Big Ten signs, and it just doesn't sit right.
It is weird. I don't like not having the Pac-12, and I think history will show. I mean, we were better with Power 5. We were better with the Pac-12. It doesn't make sense. The Big Ten is not better. It's a little bit fun, to have like Oregon and USC and Washington as a novelty as part of the Big Ten, but overall, life is not better.
Sparty and GL. Aidan Chiles will be much better than expected, then leave next year for a bigger NIL payday.
This is the nightmare of every MSU fan. And the reason I would say it's unlikely to happen, though nothing's impossible this day and age, and I was talking with Jonathan Smith Friday, and he even said these guys are free agents every 6 months. Like, this is, you have to know that. But, again, if he's good, if he has success, you don't want to change the system you're in if you're a quarterback. If you are better than expected and you are on an NFL trajectory and you are a quarterback, and what's ultimately it's not about the next NIL payday unless you're DJU or one of these guys who's jumping around, Cam Ward or whatever. Like, if you're trying to get to the NFL, messing around with your coaching situation and the offense you're in, if you just had a good year, is not smart, especially if you're at a place like Michigan State where I have zero doubt that when it comes to the quarterback position, they will have the NIL funds to do what's necessary. I really don't think that there will be a lot of bigger paydays. There may be somebody who swoops in with some giant number, and you got to look at that. But if you're Chiles and this is about an NFL career, you got to be careful with that. Tim Horton. Hawaii,
regularly playing games at midnight Eastern time should be illegal. They're 6 hours behind, not 15.
It's 5 hours.
Bonus, donuts should be looked at as a dessert, not a breakfast, and baked. MSU football walks out to Fred Bear this year.
Donuts is donuts can be anything. But, do people look at them as a breakfast? Usually, I guess you get a coffee and a donut. Yeah, it's a breakfast.
Yeah. I mean, primarily that's what they were used for, especially when we were young. Like you go get a donut and a coffee and to start your day.
They're fewer calories than bagels. So that's the big thing I always say. And I like bagels, but I'm just saying if you're donuts are the way to go.
I got to say, the MSU football walks out to Fred Bear this year was a great bake take. Loved it. Treese channeled Napoleon Dynamite as I was walking, eating chips out of my pocket after meeting Freddie Funk with a great fan-player interaction. She texted me. She's like, my takes don't make sense. So, so she was obviously with me at the tournament yesterday, and so we grabbed a bite and some drinks, right? So she grabbed a hot dog, and then I turn around, and she's like, look, I'm going to put my bag of chips in my pocket. And I'm like, it's a quiet, like golf is like, I was whispering the whole time. And she's like, why are you whispering? I'm like, I don't know. I just respect the game. And I'm like, maybe chip. Like, she knows not to eat chips, obviously, in a backswing and all that shit. But I just think it's a curious thing. And Fred Funk was, I don't know if you remember Fred Funk, but great guy. He was playing with John Daly. And basically all he had to do was say hi to Treese. And now she's a fan forever.
I love it. I love it. And
he walked right into her and she's like, hey, how you doing? And she's like, oh my God, Fred Funk said hi to me. I'm like, you didn't even know who he was. Like,
eating chips out of the pocket. I love it. That is very much a pure options.
Well, they were
idea.
still in the bag.
Oh, I see.
You got to make sure.
Yeah. No, I
she didn't just take him out of the bag and put him in her pocket for later.
You don't want to be, you don't want to be just crunching chips during the back.
Well, it's like what I told you. Mike Weir was yelling at the couple. Like, that is my nightmare, is to be walking all of a sudden the whole tee box is like, hey, idiot, get out of the way.
I feel like we ought to have a sponsor just for Teresa's takes.
Sure.
It would be smart. This of course, is a story we're telling, presented by our friends at Midtown Brewing Company. Awesome place for just about any occasion. And great work lunch spot. Been to several work lunches. Went to one that Jason crashed with Cody Tucker. Cody Tucker's going away lunch, where Jason and Cody were completely inappropriate. I blame Cody. And we had like all these young women around who were at the newsroom at the time.
We did not say anything bad.
It was some cringe moments. But
like what? You can't remember them.
You're right, because the meal was so good at Midtown Brewing Company, and the vibe was so great. Go to midtownbrewing.net. Check them out on Facebook.
I remember that. Still drinking back then. Beppe Plum. If I have 3 months to live and commit a crime, would I get 90 days to respond? Not relating this to a football season being basically 90 days or anything. Weird how quickly good people are punished. And bonus, MSU wins 7 games and competes in a bowl. Not even a high take. Just hashtag pure optimism.
The NCAA doesn't operate like the true court of law. You don't get 90 days. Like, OJ didn't get 90 days.
No,
no. I mean, he got a lot. I mean, it took a while, but he didn't get 90 days. You don't get to say, well, this is actually my case, and I'm gonna. I disagree. You can't do anything with me for 90 days. But court cases take a while to get. It takes a while for things to get to court a lot of times.
Yeah, ask Matt Mancarini, right?
Not because he's been tried, because he covers courts.
Come on,
right.
Hans Jurget. Ken Chu, right? Ken Chu, tailgating is one of the best aspects of the MSU experience. Come join us where physics meets psychology. Hashtag the right tailgate with a W.
Physics meets psychology. Those are two street signs. So and hopefully Ken Chu, by the way, will have groovy donuts, maybe some Pure Options. Lots of good ways to bolster your tailgate with our sponsors.
Hans Jurgent, number one, keep the soccer picks coming, Graham. When you win, I win. When you lose, I get to make fun of you. Hashtag win-win. I kid Graham because I love. 2, glad I cashed out on my New Mexico bet before they shit the bed in the final 5 minutes. And 3, thank God preseason is over. It's purgatory on earth.
The NFL preseason does drag at the end. It's like, oh man, let's just play. Let's go.
But week 0 happens in college football.
Yep.
You kind of know that it's coming soon.
To me, when you have the Premier League starting and then you get college football starting, you're okay. There's enough there. And then the Tigers have been fun this month, so it's been okay.
Jake Hawkins, number 1, great column on why Jonathan Smith took the MSU job, but I sure hope his kids are in a good place now after moving to Michigan back in December. I remember from their family photo after Smith's introduction press conference, his oldest sons and daughters' faces had iffy and looks. Really?
Well, I can imagine, like you've been somewhere for 6 years, and like the crux of your growing up years, you got friends, and all of a sudden,
dude, I
like,
pout at 45 years old.
Yeah.
If I was that age and had to stand in front of all those people, yeah, I'd cut them. Anyway, 2, good column on predicting MSU season. I said that 7-5 is most likely, possibly better if the players are all bought in. However, I think MSU has a real shot against Michigan. This is Sharon Moore's first official season, and other coaches before him lost to MSU in their first year. And 3, I think I know why SI picked the Lions to win the Super Bowl this year. I came across this picture on Facebook last week. Check it out and let me know what your thoughts are. It's a picture of Mike Ditka and Dan Campbell and the comparisons, and Ditka won his Super Bowl in year 4.
It is interesting. I saw that. Like, there's a lot, including the number they wore, that they both played for the same teams they eventually coached. There's a lot of things. I don't know if that's why they picked them, but it was interesting to see the comparison. It certainly was.
Yes, they did it. That's why they did it. Jerk guy, finally. Number 1, people who don't like college football aren't to be trusted. 2, hammer the over. 3, running from the cops is the ultimate double or nothing.
The Rube would know a little about this.
I've never run from the police. I mean, back in the MIP days when we were like in the backyard and all of a sudden like someone yelled cops or something, that we would run then. But I'm in a car. No, it's stupid.
Yeah.
No chance me ever. If I am running from the law, if you see me on TV running from the law, I'm drinking again.
Oh boy. Yeah. We will hope that's not the case. But
depends on who you are.
Well, I would love to see the video of it and have it not be serious. It's just a little fired up about something else or anything else. We appreciate all of you producing our show for us. It's appreciated as always. And this week we will come back and do. I think maybe Wednesday we'll do. Pick the games for the first time. Maybe some season win stuff we'll revisit. Hopefully have Harry on. Maybe a FAU writer and figure out a little bit about the Owls. Should be fun. We appreciate Pure Options. Go to pureoptions.com. Sign up for the Pure Perks program. Check out their deals. Totally worth it. We also appreciate Midtown Brewing Company. Great place for any occasion. We'll be back later this week. Good show, man.
Yeah, man.
Couch in the Roof.